Good afternoon. I think it's working. This is a deck that came a couple of days ago, and it's really tough to light it up to show it. I've tried all sorts of things, even a flashlight, which doesn't seem to help. But anyway, it's called TrueBlack, and one knock against it is this might be with the exception of hand-done stuff. I'm not sure, this is not hand-done. But with the exception of those being super expensive, this was $75 plus $10 shipping. So ouch. And apparently there was some issue with it. But before I get to that, I'll do the box. Here's the box. It says TrueBlack, and if I can get this at the right angle, this is true for all of the cards and most of the things on the cards. Depending on the angle of the light, you can see it turns into like a gold and silver, or possibly copper, bronze, and a bluish color. I'm not sure what was intended. I'm gonna guess gold and silverish maybe. And on the inside it says, "It is only in darkness that we see the stars." And it's a box, nothing special there. It comes with a book that's about 112 pages, I think. And if you look at the book over here, you can see it happening because the light's right above it up there. If I waggle it, it'll go gold and bluish and copper, bronze, whatever, and it says TrueBlack. So that's kind of cool. And how many pages was it? 112, yeah. It has something for each card, plus a little bit about the background artwork, as it says, additional artwork. I guess that's the stuff behind, beside, below, above the image that's in the middle, I guess. Because here it's talking about the Fool. There's the art card. That's what all the backs look like. There. You can barely see it, and then it happens. Hopefully you can see that. And if I get it right, it'll be a bluish silver, which is kind of cool. Here in a second, I'll throw the black light at it, because why not? But here's the Fool card. Can I put this so you can see it all the time while I read this? Probably not with the colors though, huh? There, ooh, wow. You can see the Fool down there, barely visible. Wow. I didn't expect the wings to do that. Nothing happens at the top, just on the wings. So I'll leave it there. It says the original artwork is a plot of the Lorenz attractor. If I recall, yep. Chaos Theory, Edward Lorenz. He apparently coined the term butterfly effect. Well, I didn't think that was true, but I guess it is. But anyway, it makes him kind of look like a butterfly, plus there's a butterfly on the kid's forehead. So that's interesting. Kinda. Let's get the book out of the way. These are very thick. I think it said they were 18 point, which is about a point is 0.001 inch, I believe. When I measured them, 10 of them in a caliper was over 2 inches. And prior to these, this was my thickest one of these El Minigallo thing. It's Hokusai art, or like it. But these were the thickest. This is like 1.7 something. But these are much thicker. So that's kind of cool. Let's see. Get the Fool out of here. Get the box out of here. Put the Fool back down there. Does he show up wings and all? No. Weird. So they're kind of, kind of disappear a little bit if you're in a darkened room, that's for sure. But there's an extra card, which I won't read about. You can read about it. It's called a knot, a gnat, I'm not sure. But there, the same effect happens. All the backs are the same. Not sure what the purpose of this card is, but in the deck it was ordered, Fool Through World, and this was the next card before we got into the minors. So what I'm going to do now is turn this light off and turn this light off, and thankfully the sun isn't out, so I don't have to worry with that. And let's see what happens in the old black light, other than dust showing up. And these cards are gonna collect the dust. If you used them, you'd have to keep them put away somewhere and dust it off occasionally. I want to get the Magician over there. For some reason, Magician card's hard to get. He has feet. There's a lot of floating going on in here, or falling, or whatever you want to call it. But this doesn't help show the gold at all, or the silver, whichever it is. The words do kind of show up. That's interesting. Not that anybody would ever be using this for the black light, but I just wanted to show. So let's get back to it. Don't fall over. Thank you. Ugh. I need longer arms. So let's bring in the first suit. At the end here, I'll show some stuff from a journal, a book I'm going to start reading, and an ink that I discovered, like bonus action. Here are the wands. Can I zoom in? Uh-oh. We want to kind of block off these for a little bit. There we go. Can we zoom just a touch? Yes. So that's the wands. I like this one. Let's pick that one up. Really thick. And they're edged. I forgot to say that. I don't know how they were edged. It didn't say. And I forgot to point out the mistake, didn't I? But anyway, it's just a simple mistake. I got it a bit early because of that, I guess. The Hierophant card is misspelled. That's all. No biggie. And in regular lighting, can't even see it anyway, to be quite honest. But I like that card. Those are the wands. How does it look over there on the computer? It looks okay. I guess I'll be taking a little longer since this has... And here's another oddity I found. Well, that came in an email. It gave me a choice of get the deck now with the misspelling, even though the book's got it spelled correctly, or wait until February or something like that and get it corrected. Supposedly there were some other mistakes, misalignments, cut wrong, I don't know. So far I haven't seen any of that chipping that almost all of black decks have. Just about right there I do, kinda. But I'm not sure that's what it is, or it's some kind of silverish. I can feel it, so I guess it's gonna do that as well. But when you fan the cards, like you just take some and fan them, this one stands out big time because it's got, it's not dark like the rest of them are mostly at the top. This one just pops right out. That's the 8 of Cups. Next suit is the swords. Do I like any of the swords? Yes, I like the one that's flint-knapped. As in, Stone Age. Chip. Let's see it over here. Whoa. Those lilies kind of pop up. That's kind of not so happy looking. That's definitely not happy. There's the swords. Here come, last but not least, up. Woo! Pentacles, which I almost dropped. I like that one. I'm half tempted to see what that looks like in blacklight, but I won't do it. Instead, I'll move on to the book I wanted to mention that I got from a place in the UK called Troy. I don't know, Troy something. Between the Realms, Cornish Myth and Magic. Cheryl Straffen. I don't know who that is. I don't know when this was written. But I think it's mostly about megaliths, you know, stone things left behind by people. Yeah. And it had some nice doodles in it. I call them doodles. I'm sure she might call it art. So shamans, druids, all sorts of stuff, but I haven't got there yet on the list. What else did I want to point out? I found this. I was looking for black ink, something that you could watercolor over or over watercolor, however you do it. This one says Eternal, and it's got this wacky looking thing. I don't know what that is, but it's a Noodler's Heart of Darkness, and it's black. Also found a Diamine Oxblood, which is a reddish brown. You'll see in the journal. Oddly, it's in a plastic bottle. I also got I just recently got this. This is a Hero 1303. But what I liked about it is it reminds me of the ultimate in fountain pens, the Parker 51. It's an old fountain pen, but it's like perfection. I don't use it anymore. I just store it away. But this is so much like it. This is lighter, thinner, really extra fine nib. But enough of that. Let's get to what do we want to do in the journal here. Oh, I think I already showed that. Yep, you did. Let's go next. That's just more inks and doodles and thoughts and how I'm doing my decks, which some people call storage, but mine's not going to be in storage. It's going to be out where I can get at them. And then something my grandmother used to talk about, where you combine wands and cups, and the word would have been subtle, although she would have used another word. And then force would have been sword and pinnacle. So I doodled that. And a song by the B-52s. And then there's this weird thing where baby pushes a rock gets bigger, gets older, sits and puzzles, thoughts, and off the edge, spirit. Doodled that and went down another rabbit hole with red and white, Santa, mushrooms, reindeer, elves. You know, those moments. This was from another bottle. I think that's the box for this Noodler's ink. Heart of Darkness. The catfish coming up behind this native guy whose arm got a little out of control there. And I think I wrote the date on the ink, and I said I found it like a year to the day later, which is a little bizarre. It's a good ink. Dark. Nothing's permanent when it comes to this kind of inks, but anyway. And then there's a panda I drew from a diary I had. We'll ignore all that. But I did watch this movie I wanted to share. If I'm not too long here, I don't think so. I can do it really fast. The movie's called November. It was on Amazon Prime. It's free for me anyway. It's based on some book. I won't even attempt to pronounce that. It's the country the person's from is Estonia. I don't know much about Estonia. But this movie is some kind of strange. It's almost like a comedy, but it's not. It's almost like it's horror, but it's not. The first part's a little disturbing if you can get past the first 5 minutes, maybe 7 minutes. Then it gets better. It's almost like it's trying to capture that moment where pagans are being converted to Christianity, or they just have and they don't really like it, and they're still all superstitious and, you know, all that kind of stuff. I mean, there are the devils in it, or their version. There's two witches who have some strange idea for spells. Werewolves, wolves, people turning into things turning into people. There's these things called krats, K-R-A-T-T, which is almost like you take a bunch of stuff, put it in the shape of a person, and somehow it gets a soul, and it can go and steal all this stuff from. It is a bizarre movie. But even if you just turn the sound off, the good part about it is all these black and white images. It's like a black and white movie with a lot of silhouetting. It's beautiful, actually, despite the wackiness that's going on. So I just wanted to share that as well. But this was a quick show, hopefully. I'm not sure what I can show that'll show up. The quick show of the TrueBlack Tarot. So with that, I will say peace.